What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and today, day trading, I made $503. And I know if you've been watching my channel recently, that's pretty lame in comparison to what I normally make, but I am still unable to trade on Fidelity, still have not heard back from them. So this is all me trading on Schwab, and I'm gonna talk about some of the trades that I made today, because I'm getting some new strategies for Nasdaqs that are actually, somewhat decent. I'm still working on developing them, but I think you guys could benefit from some of this insight. And then I have some good stocks that you do not want to miss for tomorrow because they are making some moves. Definitely a lot of potential for profit on these. So I just want to make sure you guys don't miss any plays because the goal is to help you make as much money as possible. That is why I make these videos. So if you find this helpful, please smash that like button, drop a comment saying something. I don't know. You could say, my milkshake's bringing all the traders to the yard, or something like that. I don't know, whatever you want to comment. And subscribe if you haven't already. I think that's pretty much it. So let's dive into my computer and talk about these stocks. All right, guys, so a few stocks that I want to put on your radar that are moving right now in after hours and have the potential to be running tomorrow. I just want to start off with that. So AEHL, this is the first one. I saw some, I don't want to say pumpers, but some people who may do some on Twitter, I saw them mentioning this. Let's not make some type of gif out of that. And you can see that this has the tendency to spike up pretty big and then fail. Spike up pretty big and fail. And this is a very low float stock. I think it's like 2 or 3 mil float. And we know that those have the potential to spike big. And I mean, it's always spiking and then coming back. So if you get in early, could be decent. And if we look here in after hours, it is spiking up. This data is delayed by 15 minutes. But it, right now it's at 357 right here. It's kind of like bouncing like this. So this stock, AEHL, can definitely be moving tomorrow. This person said, swinging and still buying up shares. $6 is my first target, then 7 to 10. Just a matter of when it goes, not if. So I'd imagine more tweets are coming about this tomorrow. It is low float. Again, 2.18 million float, so this thing can move on very little volume. So definitely be looking to trade this one tomorrow. I'm not sure what it's going to do. I'm not going to buy it here, but if it's still moving tomorrow, definitely interested in that one. BTX, this one spiked up huge after hours. And this is one you guys definitely want to be watching. I mean, this is another low float stock. This is a 1.12 million float stock. I call this out in the Discord, like right here, because it was spiking up, right after hours. And this thing has just continued to push in after hours. I expect this to be doing something interesting tomorrow. If not, it could make a good short, but obviously, unless you have a really good broker, if there's only a 1 mil float, you're probably not going to get any shares of this to short. So a dip and rip would be the ideal thing on here, and then a rip through these highs or pre-market highs if they're higher than that. So keep that one on your radar. BTX, a couple other stocks moving after hours, AHL, and then CARA. I'm not sure how much this one's moving. Yeah, so this one spiked up a good amount and then has come back down a little bit. So just a couple after-hour movers that I want you guys to be aware of. Now some stocks that I think will also be moving tomorrow. I want to talk about some OTCs real quick. So ENZC, this one had some news today about coronavirus in their pending patents, and obviously that's news that has a buzzword in there, and that tends to make things run, especially when people do their research overnight, etc. OTC stocks. So this I think was a pretty decent overnight and closed right at its highs with good news. So probably sees a nice gap up. Does it continue spiking tomorrow? Does it go into a panic that you can dip by? I have no idea. I'd probably expect this thing to see some more running, but I can't really trade OTCs right now because I have no settled cash, but there's definitely going to be some opportunities on this one. Just so many nice dip buys all day long. Crazy run up here. If you missed right when the news came out, I think it came out. When did it come out? Did it come out in the morning and then it ran later on the day? I'm not sure. That's pretty wild, but this thing was definitely so many opportunities on this today. HMBL, this is the classic one I like to talk about all the time. This had a nice little dip buy here right at the open. Of course, if you nailed it here, I mean, that's easy 10 cents a share. 10,000 shares, that's $1,000 right there. This actually sold off a lot towards the end of the day. And I guess we'll have to see what happens on HMBL. But again, I can't really trade OTCs, guys, which is a little bit frustrating. My probably best trade of the day in 1 second trade was HTZGQ. I absolutely nailed this one. I call this again out in the Discord, and you can see this, guys. If you see a morning panic like this, I mean, this went from 190, and again the ticker is HTZGQ. It's Hertz. The Q means they're going bankrupt, and they went from 190 all the way down to 121. And I was buying here. I bought like 1,000 shares here, and I ended up selling all of it in that first candle. Made like $200. You know, bought in. I don't know what my average was overall. Maybe 125 because I bought some here, 128, and then bought some more at like 122 or 123. And I ended up selling that first green candle, and it ended up grinding up a long time after that, and it was pretty nice. This is the type of bounce you could also short into. Obviously, pretty trash company, HTZGQ, going bankrupt. So pretty easy to short into that bounce as well. But definitely lots of opportunities here. Again, guys, morning panics, still my favorite pattern of all time. Just because I don't have any buying power right now does not mean they are not worth it. AABB, stock had a nice little run in the middle of the day. I couldn't trade this, but this is one you always want to keep on your radar. Always want to keep on your radar. The stock that I was actually trading the most today, now this is going to be a little weird. I was actually trading AMC. I was trading AMC, guys. And you might be like, David, why are you trading AMC? That's a meme stock. You don't like meme stocks. Well, it went on a crazy run. And you can see it went from 10.4 pretty much straight up to 11.25. Almost $1 a share. I mean, what is that, 85 cents a share? With pretty much no red candles at all. I mean, there's a few red candles, but they didn't make it move down, and it just kept going up. So, I mean, pretty much no red candles all the way up here. And I actually, luckily, only saw it like right here. And I started shorting in here. And then I was pretty much just shorting this and buying it the rest of the day. And my strategy, guys, for shorting these is pretty much the same thing I use for when I'm buying, except I might be a little bit more, I don't want to say stubborn, I'm probably more patient in not cutting my losses, which may come back to hurt me at some point. I did get squeezed on OCG that one time. I did get squeezed on that one. But, you know, when you see a stock that does this, you can be pretty sure that it's going to see a nice pullback, you know, pretty soon. So even if you can't catch the exact top, or you start shorting too soon, you can be pretty sure that it's going to pull back at some point. And if you have to average up, I like cutting my losses, but not cutting the whole thing. It's called recycling shares. I actually learned that from Mad And then you re-add, at a higher point, because that way, if you cut all your shares, right here, it's kind of silly because it's going to dump hard at some point. You just don't know when. So it's probably better if you recycle shares. So say I have, 1,000 shares short from here, and it breaks through this risk, and I think, oh no, it can't keep going past there. I would cut 500, so I would buy back in 500, but then I'm still short 500. So if it starts dumping, then I can still make up some of that loss, if that makes sense. Because there's nothing worse than cutting your losses right at the top, and then it does what you want it to do. Or same thing, nothing worse than cutting your losses right at the bottom, and then it does exactly what you wanted it to. And this one, man, I was flipping biases all over the place. I was shorting into these spikes, and then I was covering, into these dips that dip too much. And it's pretty straightforward, guys. It's pretty straightforward. I may need to work on my patience a little bit more. I think on this, you can see this candle right here. I think I started shorting, right here at 1087, and it bounced all the way up to, 1105. So typically, there's a couple of candles in a row. I mean, that's at least what I saw pretty much throughout the entire day. So you get 5 red candles in a row, 5 green candles, 2 red candles, 6 or 7 green candles, 3 red candles, couple green candles, 4 red candles, couple green candles, 8 red candles, couple green. So it's pretty easy to time your entry if you just wait. And I always take smaller size when I'm taking the first stab at my shares, because that way I'm never going to be sizing in too big if I have a horrible entry. And it's pretty easy to risk because you just risk off of it making a higher high. So like in this case, yeah, I want to talk about this one specifically. So you can see, let me zoom in just a little bit more. So right here, all right, I started shorting into this bounce at like 1083, and it came down, but I didn't cover right away. I might have covered some, but then it squeezed up past. And instead of covering it all right here, since it didn't break out past this, I didn't cover any, and I actually added here and then was able to cover down into this dump. And that's something that I need to work on, being patient and letting the chart guide my decisions. And that's one of the biggest things with Nasdaq. Like I was talking about this in Discord today. You can't be too penny pinching because you get messed up on the spread, and it's harder to judge like tiny little movements when you're trading Nasdaqs versus OTCs. So you got to be a little bit more patient, and it just requires a different type of trading mentality. And you need to be more focused on the chart. I would say that the chart overall is more important on Nasdaqs. The fact that this didn't make a higher high here is a really good sign to be short biased. And the fact that it then breaks down under here and makes a lower low is a good sign that I want to short into this spike, which I did. And then, it consolidated here for a while, and I was short here for the breakdown past this low, and then I bought this bounce over VWAP. And then when it was consolidating around VWAP, I said this again. I said it's likely to pop up. And so instead of longing it because I wasn't too positive, I just waited, and then I shorted into this. And I actually screwed myself over here because I covered most of it right here before this massive dump, and I missed out on all those gains, which is pretty unfortunate. But I had the confidence to be short biased today because it was pretty overextended. If you go from $9 up to $11.25 when you're this stock, your AMC, to me, I'm pretty confident that there's going to be at least some type of pullback. I don't need it to pull back all the way down to 880. If I'm short in here, all I need is a little mini pullback. I need it to be more likely that it's going to pull back. And that's just what you have to look for, whether you're being short biased or you're being long biased, guys. Just look at the overall pattern of the chart, especially on Nasdaqs. Is it more likely to pull back, or is it more likely to bounce here? And if it's down a ton, it's more likely to bounce. But if it's up a ton, then it's more likely to pull back. And that's the way I like trading when I'm flipping biases left and right on Nasdaqs. That's how I prefer to trade. So just pretty cool. Just want to walk you guys through that. There's a couple other stocks today that were moving up. I don't want to go too in depth. I don't want to bore you guys. But just to call some of them out, these did not have shares to short, and I didn't feel like longing them. But CEMI, this one was pretty low float, I think. Spiked up big in after hours on Thursday. And then kind of held those gains and was spiking a little bit more today, but wasn't able to break through too convincingly, and just kept rejecting every time. So, this is just kind of a good example of why you don't want to chase, because every single time this thing broke out, it had a huge red candle. Tried to break out, huge red candle. Tried to break out, huge red candle. So just be careful chasing Nasdaqs, guys. Be careful chasing that. Be careful chasing anything. Don't get me wrong. But Nasdaqs especially. ACY, this one just had a beautiful fade off day. I wish I had shares of this. It broke above here, the high from Thursday, but it wasn't able to do it convincingly. And this stock also has like these crazy candles, guys. The high of this candle was 15.13, and the low was that's the wrong candle. Yeah, the high was 16.44, and the low was 14.5. That's almost a $2 candle in 1 minute. That's insane. So just gotta be careful chasing stocks like this. And this is getting to the backside of the parabolic move that makes no sense. And this is where you want to be short. This is where you want to be short biased. So this thing came up. I think it's delisting off the Nasdaq tomorrow because it's going bankrupt. Shares of bankrupt Aero Century up 37%. Like, this is such an easy short. And the reason that it's people, I guess, want to be long on it is because it's so low float that it still ends up squeezing, even though it makes no sense for it to be squeezing. This thing went bankrupt and is losing its status on the Nasdaq. I think it's tomorrow because it's so trash. And again, up from 275 to 1725. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, crazy, crazy. And man, I wish I had shares of this. I gotta figure out how I can get a Cobra brokerage account, man, so I can start getting shares of this, even if it costs 20 cents a share to locate. To me, that's worth it, bro. To me, that's worth it. There's so much downside here. So this is the type of stock that you want to be short biased on. Once it's on the backside of the move. And if you were trying to short it on this day, it just kept squeezing higher and higher and higher, which made it really tough. Made it really tough. So be aware of that. XELB, did I talk about that one already? This one was still squeezing a little bit today. DMYD, just calling some of these out for you guys in case you're interested. I probably won't trade these too much unless they get really overextended. Then I'll probably look to short them. I like being short biased because for me it's easier to know that a stock that is up way too much is going to come back down versus a stock that's down a lot is like, okay, it could just never bounce. So that's why That's why I prefer being short biased on Nasdaq, since it's harder for me to read. I feel like I have the odds on my side if a stock gets really overextended that it's going to start coming back down. So that's why I like being short biased. That's pretty much it, guys. I mean, other stuff was doing stuff today, but there's nothing too insane that I'm seeing out here. Really nothing that great. OZSC moved a little bit, but nothing too much. If I missed anything, well, actually, I guess I did miss something. I will mention, give an honorable mention to EEENF. This one gapped up huge. Congrats to everyone in the Discord who is long on this one. And I guess we'll see if the news comes out that we've been waiting for. I don't have any shares of this because I don't want to pay the $50 fee to buy and sell because it's a foreign OTC stock. But you know, we'll see what happens. Maybe it breaks 10 cents or maybe it tanks down under 5 cents. I have no idea. I personally don't like buying here. I wouldn't be buying here even if there were no fee for the long term because it's, you know, up from a cent. We had people buying it at 2 cents and now it's at, you know, 8 cents. So I think it's a little bit of a chase here, but depending on what the news is, you know, potentially could spike a lot more. I would just say be extra careful managing risk if you're buying in, and make sure you're not paying that $50 buy and sell fee for the foreign settlement. So be aware of that. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So I will catch you in the next one. If you made it to the end, oh, I got to show you this. All right, so if I might have to figure out how to flip this. If I frown really hard, my chin makes eyes, and then if I flip it upside down, it turns into a smiley face. All right, that's it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, let's grow better together. Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.